Welcome to another Hangout on Air by Federico Ree, entrepreneurship coach and founder of Creative Entrepreneur. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are around the world. My name is Federico Ree from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm the founder and entrepreneurship coach of Creative Entrepreneur. And in today's Hangout, I have a very distinguished guest who I'll introduce shortly. With regards to today's theme, I guess, or topic, it's about why is entrepreneurship such an important ingredient when it comes to adventure, or vice versa. Why is adventure such an important ingredient in the world of entrepreneurship? And joining me today, I have founder of Unstoppables and also serial entrepreneur, Giulio De Lafitte. How are you, Giulio?
I'm great. Good to see you, Federico. How are you doing?
I'm absolutely fantastic in Melbourne today. It's a lovely day. Can't complain. And you're based in Sydney, is that right?
Correct. It's been
Awesome.
rainy here, but nice nonetheless.
Rain's always a good thing. So, look, Giulio, I'm absolutely honoured to have you in today's radio show, and really keen to pick your brain and really get to the guts of, you know, why you founded Unstoppables. But before we do that, I guess I wanted to sort of go back to the past and go back to your history, which is very rich in the world of entrepreneurship. I believe that you originated from Brazil, and in fact, you had a number of entrepreneurial ventures from a very young age, including a clothing business and also a food retail business. Is that right?
Correct. That's right. I had the entrepreneurial bug since I was a little kid. I used to swim a lot, and the uniform for my swimming team was awful. So at the age of 15, I started to think, why wouldn't I produce the uniforms? And seriously, I knew nothing about the rag trade. I knew nothing about clothing. And as a 15-year-old, I spent time drawing, the uniform for my team in my room. And then I actually got somebody to actually put one together for me. I went back to the team. I made mine first. And then I went back to my team. And I had 111 athletes for an entire club want one. So that's how I launched it. And you take me a year and a half later, I was doing all the uniforms for all the teams in my town. And then from there, I started taking on gyms as producing the T-shirts and the shorts, their own labels. So by the time I was 18, I had a very strong distribution for clothing in the athletes arena, the sports arena, and gyms. It was great fun.
I'm sure it was very impressive, and there's nothing more exciting and inspirational than a humble story such as yours, where someone, I guess, from an impoverished environment perhaps, and with a lack of education in business, has managed to build themselves up to become who you are today. So fast forwarding, I guess, 20 plus years, you're now based in Australia and you're leading a movement called Unstoppables. And by my understanding, Unstoppables is about igniting that entrepreneurial spirit and essentially bringing together a team of entrepreneurs from around the world to, discuss global challenges or global issues, or perhaps even global opportunities. And I know that you've run a couple of events over the last year or so, one in Antarctica and also one in Brazil itself. So can you tell us a little bit about what Unstoppables means to you, and I guess why you founded it in the first place?
Sure. See, Federico, I believe that the economy is inside of us, not outside of us. And I also believe that collaboration is the new currency. And because it is a new currency, some people don't know how to trade. So now there's a couple of conversations inside of that. The economy is inside of us. We need to learn to collaborate, to trade going forward. And the currency is called collaboration. So 3 years ago, I was at a government meeting and people were talking about paying the state debt. And they were talking about selling some of the state assets and increase taxes. The way to get ahead from a state perspective is to create businesses. If you have more businesses, then you literally can tax more people. You can tax GST, you can tax people on their income. So it ain't about selling our assets or increasing taxes to the current pool. It's about growing the current pool. So what would happen if I was to put 100 entrepreneurs together to collaborate? In other words, to learn to use the new the new currency, right? Which is collaboration. Collaboration today is worth more than money. And get to the future first. So I invited 106 entrepreneurs to Antarctica, and we run a program for 10 days. And the whole idea is, how can we collaborate to create businesses that do not exist, businesses among ourselves, between ourselves, and it was a total success. In the beginning, people have some fears about their IP and what they know, how they are at. But once they start to realize that together we can do much more than separately, things really change. In that trip alone, we created 98 businesses. We had millions of dollars invested in each other. It was such an incredible journey. So much so that I did it again. And so Unstoppable is about amazing people going to amazing places to produce amazing results. Right?
I love the legacy or your philosophy to the business model. Fantastic stuff, Julio. So why is adventure itself such an important ingredient in getting people together and to collaborate? Sure.
I would say that the typical entrepreneur is already an adventurer at heart, right? So they have an adventure in a sense of business, in a sense of causing things to happen. But also I believe that a lot of people have the entrepreneurial gene that is asleep inside of them. They really are entrepreneurs, and yet, so what would cause it to wake up? What if there is a deeper philosophy that says entrepreneurism can be learned rather than you're born with it? So the whole idea is to take people to amazing places with a sense of adventure for real. So you're taking people from the middle into the edge. So they get to experience themselves out of their comfort zone. And in that, other things start to take place. So we run a very strong program, a very strong platform that really helps them to come to the edge and find the edge to be the new middle or the new center, right? Oh my God, I did not know that was possible. Are you really up to that? Oh my God, I can use that. So people start sharing technology, approaches, laws, all sorts of different things among themselves. And the entrepreneurial idea fully may jump industries, meaning a guy in fisheries may find out what another girl is doing and doing in fashion, right? Yeah. So what's actually happening is pretty much, what are you doing? What can I learn from that? And how do I bring it?
I completely support your philosophy about working outside of the comfort zone. I can certainly relate to those experiences myself as an entrepreneur. It really does challenge you to, work with a number of other people. It pushes your boundaries. It makes you learn. And through that, you develop camaraderie when you're amongst a team of other.
Exactly that.
Yeah. And,
exactly that. I see you. Can I help you? Can I be of service? Indeed. And then legacy starts to take place. At the most powerful day on all the two events were the legacy day.
So I like the terms you're coming up with, and perhaps that constitutes your vocabulary or our vocabulary behind what entrepreneurship really is all about. It's about collaboration. It's about legacy. It's about pushing the boundaries. It's about experiencing something new that is very unconventional. So I guess following this road a bit further with your venture. So with the last event that you undertook, what particular activities did you undertake that enable people to push themselves a little bit further, and what was a specific outcome from that? Can you be perhaps specific about what was achieved?
Of course. So the whole idea was, we went to the Amazon. We went to the jungle, start observing nature itself. So the question was, are you the jungle in your business, in your life? Are you an animal in the jungle? How do you behave in an inside of an ecosystem, right? If there's only lions, right, would the ecosystem be sustainable, right? And what's the role of the ants? What's the role? So the metaphors, they don't stop, they just keep coming. There's another conversation also that perhaps the model we have for business in the world right now may not be the best model, because capitalism without social entrepreneurship, without legacy, it seeks to destroy. It's profit above all, right? So we really got into that. So in the Amazon and in Antarctica, we start to realize it's a very fragile planet. But hold on a second. Let us make money as much as we can make it, because we can make it. So being socially aware and adjust, the truth is we have more opportunity now than ever before. If you look at companies, they're going to be multi-million-dollar companies because they're good ideas, and they really are in a data mining age, right? It's all to do of an age in which it's all about the ideas, services, and concepts that get people to plug. And so the concept of just profit for the sake of profit, it's a very challenging one, but one that we are tackling big time. So back to your question. We got together, we went to the jungle, we got in the room, and we started then having, the first period was pitching to each other. So we started having, divide the group into 4 islands, and then there's one person pitching to, and they keep changing the pitching. So then we help each other to pitch better. But pitching ain't about just, this is my idea, is where are you not eloquent? Where is your business not flowing? Where is your ask for help, not landing? Where, and then it fully integrates. So in every pitch, we have the pitcher, we have the observers, we have the judges, right? And at the end, it's live feedback, no mercy.
So I guess
because in real time.
Sorry to interrupt you, Julia. So I guess you're simultaneously developing their skills, their confidence, and their ability to communicate, to pitch, and to I guess win the interest and the approval of others that may be potential investors. Is that right?
Correct. So if you're not part of Unstoppables and you never lived such an experience, and you are an entrepreneur, you're doing it in life. So you go book a meeting, see somebody does a pitch, and then if somebody was to ask you how'd it go, you don't know. It looks like it went well, but the other people, they'll be thinking, nah, I'm not going to invest, or yes, I would if. Inside of Unstoppables, they will tell you straight, I would not invest because of this. That sounds like this to me. It is full on a very robust experience.
You talk
but
about
people then get to live. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you talk about ideas.
Sorry.
Within that environment, obviously, there's a lot of innovation with those ideas. So how do those ideas and innovation actually bring together a commercial opportunity that is tangible and ready for the marketplace? Is that something that you can share an example of?
Absolutely. So, for example, we have a drone operation now. We're going to launch the very first drone airline of Australia. It's at play right now. So there is the manufacturing of the drones, but it's the utilization of the drones. The scope is so big. So people, when you talk about drones, they think about delivery. They think about the delivery of small things. That is real, the capabilities that it will bring. And people talk about taking photos and filming, but it's unlimited. What it can really happen. So when people start talking about the drone industry, all the parallel industries that could come with it, we start discussing it. We start going, what about this? What about that? Now, of course, that to some people, it's just like a bunch of ideas. But to some others, after the meeting in the Amazon, we already got together and we are putting real money in to actually create real companies that will deliver the outcomes of the things that we learned. Right? And because people are unstoppable and they are part of it, We will honor those that brought the idea. Now, you and
So,
I know, Federico, that some people have ideas, but they'll never do anything with it, ever.
after the event, which obviously is very exciting and there's certainly a lot of energy, what's the aftermath of these opportunities? As in, do you follow through, or do you actually take notice of how those particular ideas come to market later on? Do you actually get involved in particular projects of interest?
You understand that when you have 100 people together, 55 people together, the multitude of businesses and ideas is chaotic at best. Cool. Oh, I want 2 or 3 deals, 2 or 3 crews, 2 or 3 entrepreneurs I will personally be working with. Now, let me bring this home for you. Every other person there wants the same. So there will be deals and there will be companies that I personally won't have anything to do with it. But I was born in the Amazon. It's already happening. They're meeting right now. They're catching up with each other right now. And all we ask, okay, at a level of honesty, is for people to keep feeding back into Unstoppables what happened. So then we can start giving people the results of things that took place, right? But also there are many ideas that will just stay ideas, right? So the first days, the first 2 days, it's pretty much about pitching and getting the anomalies out. The third, fourth day is about deal making. And people start meeting with each other and let's do this, let's do that. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And companies really get created. Now, in Antarctica, some companies got created. People start hanging out. And then when it comes to the crunch, the idea just died. Now, is that my responsibility? No, it's just like a common open market. Cool.
So I guess, Julio,
Yes.
the way I sort of interpret this is that you provide an exciting platform for entrepreneurs to get together, to collaborate. It's up to them ultimately to make the most of it, to
100%.
find particular partners, and perhaps afterwards you might show interest in a handful of those where you might be personally involved in developing that one step further. So I guess I take my hat
I'm
off.
going to say this to you. There are some other people in the trip that as investors and entrepreneurs in bigger than me, in other scopes, other walks of life, that nothing to do with me, but they will be driving the opportunities that they realized and they saw. So we brought some other investors there that are now hanging out with others to make what they saw possible.
Sorry, Julian. So in terms of those 100+ people who come along, are they a combination of serial entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, investors? What type of people are there? I mean, you've mentioned the lion. Are there other animals in the cage or that come out and
100%.
get together?
100%, 100%. In Antarctica, I met a young guy who was, starting his company. His company was a year old, and he told me, I can't afford to come. And I said, sure, if you say that, then that's right. If you declare that, then that is right. So anyway, he made it. He made it happen, what had to happen, right? And he came. Well, he raised $1.5 million in Antarctica, okay? For him to pay $25,000 to find himself in Antarctica, it was what? Well, he had 8 months to make it happen. He made it happen, right? He told me, can't afford it. I said, sure. So now, all that happened in Antarctica is exactly what I'm saying to you. No mercy. You pitch here, your pitch will be put to the test. But the test is we're not going to allow you to just fail. We're going to give you everything, that every time you come up, your pitch will be better, your understanding will be better. And so every lunch, every breakfast, every evening, every moment of the day, you're talking to other people that want the same thing. They want to know how to do better what they're doing. They want to help the next person, but they want to be helped as well. So so yes, we have lots of people starting out, but we also have the people that can manage the ideas as much as the people that can invest in the ideas.
So after the event, how can people, investors, entrepreneurs, and perhaps even the public become aware of the developments and progress of these ideas that I guess, originate from your platform, is there a place that people go to? Is there a website? Is it your website where people can follow through on that and express interest, perhaps?
Sure. So Unstoppables is less than 18 months old, right? So there's many things that we already see in the future, but we're not there yet, but we're building it. So we will have in the website, there'll be different types of plugins or membership. There'll be a bunch of stuff that'll be free, helping the young entrepreneurs and people that are starting out just to get to know what they need to know so they don't have to bang their heads. There'll be some other stuff that are more robust that people are seriously collaborating. So then you become into a membership. Well, we then have our hangouts. We had a day already come from the United States and address. We have had quite Julia Null and Judy Reynolds, a bunch of amazing, unstoppable people that have come. And so we run these events where people can come and tap into their knowledge, right? And so when it comes to the opportunity itself and the public, that is the next evolution, right? We believe in crowdsourcing. We believe in the future of Bitcoin and value chain. There's a bunch of things. Innovation is coming our way. So in 2 years from now, these are the ideas that we really believe will happen, and we are looking for investors. These are the ideas that happened. It's complete. There are no investors necessary. And it happened in the trip, during the trip. It's done and complete. So there will be a combination of things, very much so like an open market.
Fantastic. Certainly, I'll be looking out for those developments, and certainly other aspiring entrepreneurs or investors will be looking at as well. If we just shift our attention from your particular program and we just think about aspiring entrepreneurs and the thousands of people out there who start businesses, and as we know, it's a challenging undertaking to establish and succeed with an idea and bring it to market. From your perspective, what are the common challenges that aspiring entrepreneurs face on a day-to-day, especially in the first year?
I'll summarize it for you two ways. So let me just give you a sequence. If I had an idea or a bug inside of me, I'm an entrepreneur. Cool. Two things I'll say to you is this. You have got to learn to synthesize your idea. You've got to learn to be able to give it in a very, very good summary that makes sense. That's step number one. Now, step number two. You need to identify who you're summarizing it to. For some people, the summary is different than to others. If you're summarizing to get approval, it's very different than summarizing to get investment. Right? Again, different than summarizing to get recognition. Right? So you got to learn the modalities. So if I'm starting out, I can simplify it even further. Learn to sell. Selling in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, perhaps early 2000s, dirty word. No one wants to be seen as a salesperson. No one wants to be seen as the showman. You have got to have that in your bag. And selling is not about telling, it's about asking.
So obviously we all know about the classic expression, selling ice to the Eskimos. So if you can do that, your idea will certainly get noticed, and there's definitely traction. You might have the sales skills. However, what if you don't have any venture capital, or you don't necessarily have resources around you? What is the next best thing after being able to pitch it?
So here we go. So first learn to sell, and don't make up stuff. In learning to sell, don't promise what you can't deliver. Don't go to left or to right. Stay at point. That's the synthesis. Learn to sell. Okay. Now, the most important piece, learn to collaborate. So you need to sell other people to collaborate with you. So if I am brilliant at ABC, but I'm not very good at D, E, and F, then I'm gonna go and sell somebody to collaborate with me on those points and bring them into the team. Sell the bigger picture.
So
Now, there is more.
does that require a particular skill with sharing a vision, with being the pioneer, with being the big thinker, and being able to sort of get people excited to join you on this journey? Is it about those initial raw emotions for people to join you
Absolutely.
and work together?
Absolutely. So if you look at techie getting excited, it's very different than a venture capitalist getting excited.
So
Very
once you get
different.
excited, so I mean, I know the feeling. We all get
Listen, this
excited.
point is very important. A
Yes.
techie getting excited about something is very different than a venture capitalist getting excited. Same concept, same company, same idea. So if you're going to sell the techie to become in, be part of it, and get excited about it, he's going to get excited from a very different view of the world than a guy who's the venture capitalist with the money.
Mm.
And if I was to be an entrepreneur and learn to sell, is learn to ask the techie, what gets you excited? And then learn what makes him excited, and then go back into my idea and say, can I make that happen? Listen to an investor, what makes you excited? And then be able to modulate my idea to that. Don't ever overpromise. Make sense?
It
So it's
does make
basically
sense.
speaking the different language.
So getting
Yeah.
excited is the first step. I guess
So
getting others to be excited is the next step, and it's about them, putting their hand in their pocket and perhaps taking that risk along this journey with you. So as far as risk taking and losing and experiencing failure, what is your secret to maintaining that enthusiasm despite the losses along the way and despite the setbacks and failures? Do you have any other tips to share?
sure, absolutely. If you're going to do something just because of the money, you run out of power. So do something about something you're passionate about. It really turns you on, like it really does, right? So of course the money is a motivator, but not the why. The why is somewhere else, right? So let me give you a couple examples of exactly what I'm saying. You take Chris Leslie from AirScope. Go on Google AirScope, look up Chris Leslie. Young, bang, intelligent, smart, incredible in being able to communicate what it's all about. Okay, sheer emotions. But when he actually has the goods and delivering. So he has banged his head enough that it's not just an idea. He actually has the drones, has the deployment of the drones. He can voice people, and he's very young. Let me take you somewhere else. You look at Spiros from Carbon Track. The guy has a financial planning background, accounting background, who become really excited about energy. So when you talk to Spiros, you can see his eyes, the excitement about the future of his company, right? However, much senior guy, when he speaks from, he does bring the enthusiasm, but he brings it from a space of which I've been there, done that. That's round 33 for me,
So
right?
speaking from the heart, being integral and being convicted no matter what and being genuine about it, right?
Exactly right.
Mm.
And when
Love
you
it.
get a pushback, don't take it as personal challenge. Don't. I see too many people give up because, you may have made a statement, and you made a statement because you do not know yet. Typical, oh, my development will take me to this and my revenue will be this at. Then you get challenged. Do you know this other company that's already doing that and that and that? You did not know.
Mm.
Okay, go
I
home
want
and
to,
adjust.
Julie, you've offered some fantastic gems to the audience and certainly to myself as well. So that'll be great learning points for any aspiring entrepreneurs to really think about. And just for the audience, I guess to summarize a few key suggestions or golden nuggets, perhaps is what I'd like to call them. To be successful in business or in investment, it's really about collaboration. It's about camaraderie, and I like to also throw in the word adventure because that's really what your program is all about. It's learning to sell. That is an absolutely essential part of entrepreneurship. Don't promise what you can't deliver. That's an old classic, that one. And obviously having a burning desire or strong passion deep within that becomes contagious. So I guess I wanted to sort of steer our attention, perhaps to summarize as well, is really looking at the global marketplace and the challenges that it presents to entrepreneurs. What are the greatest challenges that business will face in the future? And, perhaps think about if there's anything there that your program might be good for, in terms of how is your program instrumental in making it easier for aspiring entrepreneurs. And I just want to throw in the word skeptics. And, there's a lot of people out there who are skeptic, who are negative judges, who don't encourage what, you and I are doing, going against the grain. What is your philosophy to that? And, if other companies were to emerge in the industry to make it easier for aspiring entrepreneurs, what advice do you have to give them?
Okay. Well, it's the duality of it all, right? Most guys that are 45 plus, they are certain of a few things that they're no longer certain about. Excuse me? They're certain that they're uncertain? Yeah. So, if you go and see a guy who is, top 4 accounting firm or top 4 engineering firm, top 4 legal firm, pharmaceutical, whatever, he's been indoctrinated, trained to compete, to market share. So he looks at life as there is only a limited amount of resource and I got to compete for a market share. So he's been trained to be a competitor, and everything's about revenue, and there's a real model in their heads about how life works. All of it is being very challenged by the fact that energy will be free. Excuse me? Well, just look at solar prices, solar equipment prices coming down, right? My children will not own a car. Okay, so automated cars will be everywhere. So they're never going to own a car. So what happens to the car insurance industry? What happens to taxis? What happens to once energy goes free, which is not very far away, really, it's going to happen in your and my lifetime. Most guys are now even considering this, and they are being disrupted. So the only way that they can survive is to be cynical. So here's what I want to say to you. Change always comes from the edge, right? So what happens then is, I would say to a guy who's 45 to 50 to actually go out and hang out with people that are 25, entrepreneurial. And for crying out loud, for the sake of your family, for the sake of your own children, get to see how the young guys see life, because they are you in 20 years from now. And they have a very different model that makes you obsolete very fast. Right?
It's very thought-provoking stuff there, Julio. Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens then is, the way in which I will protect myself is to be judgmental and even create barriers of entry, because I need to protect myself. Okay. I'll give you an example of exactly what I am saying. Guy in New York wakes up in the morning. He's an IT geek. He doesn't want to take time off for lunch or dinner. Sick of eating out. So he creates a formula. He is a geeky scientist guy, goes and does a bunch of research, engages in collaboration with a bunch of scientists, and creates a drink. You drink that drink once a day, you're good for the day. Good for the day. Now, rather than patent this and make millions of it by making a business case with a food company, he goes on the internet and makes it open source. So now if a company tries to grab it and try to make it something exclusive, only us can sell it, it's too late. It's open source. So literally now, this is the way it's going. There's plenty of people drinking this drink, becoming healthier. spending more time in other stuff than in queues and all. So what happens to the deli downstairs? What happens to the pharmaceutical companies when people start to look after themselves in a different way, and I don't need the drugs to take care of the sickness that I no longer have? And what about the discovery that what's in your gut, as far as bacteria is concerned, can actually impact a bunch of diseases, that mental disease, skin disease, a bunch, but it's nothing to do. It's all to do with controlling the flora in your gut. When now this all comes to bear, all the drugs that you take now to combat all these other sicknesses, when the sicknesses no longer exist. So the model of capitalism itself, who are the heads of those corporations? The 50-year-olds I speak of.
So I guess what you're saying, some of the greatest inventions of the world have come from the pioneers that have disrupted the industry. And I like the use of the word disruption. It's certainly a new age term that emerges more and more. And perhaps one of my last questions before we wrap up shortly is understanding how you're disrupting the industry as far as collaboration, as far as even tourism, because to some extent Unstoppables is a form of tourism, perhaps for a select breed of people, yes, the entrepreneurs. But look, personally, I think that you're flipping the tourism industry upside down and actually introducing a very powerful component or ingredient, and that's collaboration, about learning, about improving the world and for the benefit of all. So I think credit goes to you, Julio, for really thinking deep about what this program is all about. And I really look forward to the future of what you're doing. In fact, my last question, therefore, will be, Julio, where do you see your organization in 5 years' time? Do you have a vision for that?
I'm going to answer that question, but I'm also going to pull the final piece. All the 50-year-olds that are now in charge of systems, Federico, they have wisdom and they have work ethics. There will be no app for wisdom. There will be no app for hard work, right? So if I was a young entrepreneur, I would go and hang out with the guys that are in their 50s and their 60s and ask them, how did you make it so? So it's a two-way road. The younger people need to show the older guys how the future is going to pan out. And the older guys need to show the younger guys wisdom, right? That's what the collaboration really is. So the future of Unstoppables, it truly is amazing people, young people that have a lean in changing the future with the older guys who are prepared to share their wisdom and invest in the younger people. Not just money, but their wisdom and their legacy, right? So what I wanted to say to you is this. Greed has to go. I have no problem people making as much money as they can because they can. But if the only motivator is greed, we're running into trouble. So let's have money with purpose. If you want to have a rich life, it takes some money to have a rich life. But wealth is not just money, it is experience and the people you hang out with and what you do when you are with them, right? So there's no point in having all the money in the world and being alone. So what if I had incredible opportunities, chase them, make them happen with others like me, and I made more money than what I needed or wanted, so I could help the poor in the world that cannot help themselves. So the future of Unstoppables is to plug into the wisdom of those that have gone before us. Get the ingenuity of the young people that are transforming and bring their paradigms together. Make more money than what we know what to do with, because we can. And have social impact and legacy so we can help those that cannot help them. Is that a good summary for you?
That's more than an excellent summary, Julio. I think what you've said in the last minute has really shaken me up and stirred me to think really about the exciting future that lays ahead for the world and for business and for investment. And I guess to finish up, I just wanted to say a couple of powerful philosophies that you've shared to me in the last minute or so. And one of them I've sort of put together as an equation, that is wisdom and ingenuity equals collaboration. I sort of come up with that one on my own with your words. Change comes from living on the edge. And I guess the best inventions come from living on the edge or outside of the comfort zone. And if you're going to have money, why not share it with a purpose? And it is all about philanthropy and helping others in need. So what a fantastic, thought-provoking session, Julia. I really, really enjoyed today. I don't always say that to everyone with such conviction and enthusiasm, but I'm genuine to say thank you. And I really wish you all the best with what you're doing. And I'll be watching, no doubt about that one, Julia. So thanks again.
Thank you all. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise, Julia. So I'm looking forward to staying in touch. Take care.
Okay. See ya.
For more of Federico's Hangouts on Air, please visit www.creativeentrepreneur.com.au.